as the token blonde-haired, blue-eyed person. Go have fun with your marketing, but have somebody review it at the end. And like I would say, if you're on the woke side, find some like Tucker Carlson fans to review your shit. And then if you're on the other side, go ask Rachel Maddow fans or cat ladies, TikTokers on the left to review your stuff. And look for the lesson is, and this is how I mentor founders. So I can bring this back to startups. The way to do this is say, what's the worst possible interpretation of what we just did? What would be the way people would spin it who are absolutely of bad faith? So when you ask yourself those two questions, what would a bad faith actor do to weaponize this against me? So let's say I bought a bunch of Tucker Carlson's Alps and I expensed them against my venture fund. And I said, no, I did that because it was only $25 and it was a stunt as part of our investment day. And we're considering investing in the category. And it was just a prop. It was a prop for the show. Now, another person would say, oh no, Jason's addicted to nicotine and he's trying to funnel money to subvert whatever. So always think about that. What is the worst possible interpretation by a reasonable person? And then you can go even further. How would an enemy of mine weaponize this against me? And I see founders do this. They will put their rent for their apartment on their expenses and say, well, I work from home. And it's like, yeah, but here's all the reasons why that doesn't jive. That's the way to do marketing campaigns, any of your behavior. What's the worst possible interpretation? And then go from there. It's a classic creatives or writer's room. Like they always say, when you're putting a writer's room together, you don't want like all white guys in the writer's room. And that's not just because, it's wrong to only hire one kind of person, but it's because you don't get that person speaking up to be like, if you only have one perspective in the room. So I think that's probably what happened here. I think the other thing that's interesting to talk about, since we're in the celebrity area and you're here, Lon, is the sort of meme processing window not only has closed, but it's been slammed shut and it has been locked by Gwyenth Paltrow. We talked last week about Astronomer. They are, of course, the cloud security startup that became overnight very famous when their CEO and their head of HR were caught, let's say, canoodling at the Coldplay concert by Coldplay frontman Chris Martin. Footage went super viral. They obviously got caught with each other and were embarrassed, and it became a whole thing. There's a new CEO. They're relaunching Astronomer. They're trying to sort of move past this moment, and they had this viral ad with temporary spokeswoman Gwyneth Paltrow, who, of course, Chris Martin's ex, very famously. They were married, and then the lead singer of Coldplay. Right. So this in some way is adjacent. She is. They hired his ex-wife, Gwyneth Paltrow, as their temporary spokesman to do this like ad where it's like, we're trying to change the conversation back. Here's a little taste of the ad.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300 plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. All right. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. All right. Shout out to my pal Jipo on just an absolute brilliant ad. I mean, she is a tremendous actress because she delivered that perfectly. What you're missing here is they said like, OMG, what the F? And she just answers a different question. Yeah. Which is, whoever wrote this, I also want to give a shout out to the agency or the writers, whoever did this, because they understood the moment perfectly. And the comedic timing here, Gwyneth Paltrow is a very, serious actress, but also can do action and she can do comedy. And this just shows how great she is at it. If they paid her $1 million for this, it was worth it because the lifetime value of a customer of Astronomer's product, it's got to be, like a major customer is $100,000 a year, I'm going to guess, $250,000 a year. So you get one incremental customer out of this. It pays for Gwyneth Paltrow doing this. And this took her
based on her professionalism, showing up at a studio and doing no more than a half day's work. An hour in makeup, an hour of rehearsal and talking about it, and then an hour. She can bang this out in half an hour.
She knocked this out quick, yeah.
This is a half day's work. And if she got less than $1 million, I need to talk to her agent. Has to be a minimum of $1 million. I would have gone for $1 million in cash, $1 million RSUs. Genius. Everybody wins here. We move on.